It's amazing what you can do if you put your best people on your biggest problems.
Speaking of going through the people, Steven, every time someone hears that, oh, this person is from MAG, they would naturally want to poach your talents, right? I think there's like already a common knowledge wherein we are the feeders of direct clients and other agencies who doesn't have the capability to train newer folks or to train interns. So how do you keep your top talent and making sure that they don't get poached?
This is a tough question. So let's break it down. First, I build a culture that nobody wants to leave. And I treat them so well that they don't want to leave. And because we have their culture indexes, we know what motivates these people, and then we give it to them. And surprisingly, most companies can't do that. Now, obviously, every employee ever wants more money, but it's not just a money based decision. If that was the case, then everybody would be working for aggregators or hedge funds, right? And working at those locations sucks. Like it's just cancerous. So culture is the top answer to this. Some of the new things that I've started to think about is like locking employees into multi-year contracts by treating them like a player on a team, but thinking of it as a contract on a team, like the Athletic A's and Moneyball, where Brad Pitt says, hey, here's your 2-year deal to play shortstop. Here's your 3-year deal to play pitcher. That's where we're heading to protect against poaching. But even if we lose an employee here and there, it's still solvent. The education talent system is completely solvent because there's always 3 deep to a seat. Because we share all of our knowledge, we have multiple people that can step in the shoes of any exiting individual. And we also have manager values at MAG where we dictate that you must replace yourself to promote at MAG. And that's through the concept of multiplicity. This is my favorite definition of leadership is multiplicity. Multiply yourself. Replace yourself to scale. 1 + 1 = 3. Just like a mommy and daddy, 1 + 1 = 3. That's exactly what I'm going for right here. And that's because when somebody is super talented, they have the ability to replicate themselves, delegate the systems that work for them, and have others replicate the systems that they did. And that creates a self-solvent system. You treat employees so well they don't want to leave. You teach them everything you know so they can leave. And then that creates the self-reproduction of a society. And then you build out as many core processes as you can that nobody else can replicate. That is how we made a self-solvent system. There will always be high churn of talent at agencies in general. So it's not a unique problem to MAG, but my unique solutions that I just went through are very hard to replicate. No other agency is known for what we do. Education material, sharing all trade secrets, nobody. We sell our own SOPs to our competitors, for crying out loud. But there's also a secondary upside I haven't hit yet. And that is what happens when all of the other agencies know where the best talent is and the best resources is. They start applying to us.
But today, you are the boss.
And so even though we don't want certain individuals who don't meet our culture to enter the workforce, we have a high abundance of staff that are applying to MAGs. We are able to take the cream of the crop because of that.
Arriba!
And then treat them so well they don't want to leave.
Have you ever outsourced your hiring, or do you keep everything in-house? And people would say, why don't you just hire someone or outsource all your hiring instead of keeping things in-house?
Yeah, anything that you outsource means that you can't have economies of scale or you can't be best in class, right? And so I want to be best in class and I want economies of scale. So it's like a double-edged sword.
I'm the boss.
And so alternative recruitment agencies don't necessarily perform better, but they are vastly more expensive.
How far do you go now?
Regret?
No?
Oh my God!
Very challenging. We're basically running a glorified HR business as it is. And if an agency doesn't do their own recruitment, there's no way they're going to be able to serve every client every single day, right? It is a fundamental tenet of running an agency is you basically are an HR firm. You're in the business of people. So it's fundamentally flawed to outsource any of that. Now, have we tried to use an outsourced agency to pick up a specific talent head or maybe an exec that we haven't picked up before? Answer to that is absolutely we have. And that has helped us find a couple of key individuals over the past few years. But it's been over a year, over 12 months since we've used any external hiring resource of any kind, we're able to find roles we've never hired for before and hit it out of the park. And Roxy, this is props to you and the recruitment team. I have no idea how you found me, a producer who used to work in the news industry, to run my content team. Like, we just built a newsroom out of nothing in the last 3 weeks, hired 8 video editors, a content clipper, and another thumbnail creator, a content writer. And then we're all rolling this up to a brand new head called a producer. And so it's amazing what you can do if you put your best people on your biggest problems. Right. So I obviously, I'm biased here to say that in front of Roxy. Roxy, you're one of my best people. Right.
Oh,
And thank you for all of the great things that we've been able to achieve so far. And Roxy's career plan, for example, she's VP of HR today, but she is like the next person in line for chief of staff. And so for Roxy to tie this into a previous conversation, she's got to replace herself, build up the HR team to promote into the chief role, right? And this is a live example of how I replicate my system. And that's not an easy thing to do, is it?
it definitely is not. But props to the recruitment team, because it's really all them. I'm very proud of how they
Yeah.
sourced, recruited, and made sure that we get the right person on the seat. Steven, over the course of the last few years, last few months, I'm sure there were a lot of really highly talented people who went into the system and tried to apply with MAG but got rejected. So does this mean that you 100% prioritize culture over skill? So,
Yes.
okay.
100%. Skills are necessary, but culture is mandatory. If you have really highly skilled people, but they don't fit into your culture, it's going to be chaos. And so we hire first for culture. That's step one. Step two, we look at skills. We hire a lot of people who never went to college, who dropped out of college all the time. It's not a prerequisite. I don't think somebody is more qualified to work at MAG just because they have a college degree. Whether you have an art degree or a finance degree, you can apply at MAG. Just go to myamazonguy.com/jobs, or maybe you dropped out and did sales door to door. You probably will find a role. If you can solve problems, if you can add value, if you can compete and be a winner, we want to talk to you. If you love learning, this is the number one reason why somebody joins MAG. We can provide all of that and much more.